Welcome to my class. So guys, today we are going to discuss about speech. I guess that most of you already familiar with this topic, but I guess some of you are just beginners with maybe less knowledge about this topic. So yeah, let's just keep learning it again. Okay? So many of you might hear speech everywhere, like in TV, in media, in magazine, and everywhere, something like that. But what is exactly speech? What is speech exactly? Yeah. So I collect several definitions from many sources, from the book, internet, etc. And we can conclude that speech is a human vocal communication using language. So it's from a human using vocal and for communication, and it uses language as the tools. And the second definition says that speech is form of communication through spoken words delivered to an audience. So it's maybe there are 2 or 3 forms of communication, and the speech is one of them, right? So the speech is spoken words, yeah, the communication through spoken words, and it need an audience. So it's like the extended version of the first definition, right? So we have audience here in the second definition. The definition says that speech is the ability to express thoughts and feelings by articulate sounds. So it's more like the skill, right, to express thoughts and feelings, and by articulate sound. Articulate sounds is kind of similar with the human vocal, I think. But the new point here is the express, right? The skill and the express, and also the thought and the feelings. The third definition says that speech is the process or act of speaking to a live audience. So from the previous definition about speech, the extended version says that it also need a live audition. Live audition or live audition? Okay, a live audition. And then the last definition I got says that speech is commonly understood as formal, face-to-face speaking of a single person to a group of listeners. So the last one is kinda conclude the fourth previous definition, right? So the speech is commonly understood as formal face-to-face speaking of a single person to a group of listeners. So we have a formal situation here as the requirements, and also a face-to-face speaking, and also from single person to a large number of person, or to a group of listeners. So you know, right, the speech that we are talking about here is this one, a formal one, a face-to-face one, and from a single person to a group of listeners. Okay, so why do people deliver speech? What is the purpose of the speech? So there are three actually. There are 3 basic purposes of the speech. Number 1, to inform. This means that speech contains many information to everyone who listens to it. So the listeners, in this case maybe your friends actually, or maybe your classroom members, I don't know, are getting information from what you are saying. That's the point, okay? And the second purpose is to persuade. So the speaker, or the one who delivered the speech, persuade the listeners, influence the listeners, asking the listeners to do something or to agree or disagree with something like that. So to persuade them. And the last one, people deliver speech for entertainment. So maybe you know that's kind of comedian who are doing stand-up comedy, right? So it's actually one of the example of speech for entertainment. Okay, now then where do people use speech? So actually, you might not be realizing that there are many aspects in our life that use speech for the activities. For example, in education, like when you are giving the lecturer, like a lecturer giving the lecture to the students, that might be kind of the speech also. And then in politics, of course, because the head of organization maybe saying something to the members of the party, I don't know, or maybe the government say something to the public and something like that. And then for entertainment, maybe you already heard before. For example, maybe like the comedian, stand-up comedy, right? And in research, maybe the researcher who deliver the result of their research, maybe with a presentation or through the conference, I don't know, maybe something like that, and many others. So there are so many uses of the speech in our activities in the daily life, in real life, not only for the students, not only for the academic purposes, but many aspects, many elements in our society use speech, right? Okay, so you already know about speech, you already know the purposes, you already know where we use it or where people usually use speech. Now, how to write a good speech? What should we do to write a good speech? Now, maybe here I can actually there are so many books and websites that tells you guys all about how to create a good speech, or how to make a smart speech, or how to create an interesting speech or something like that. But here I can conclude the general ones. Yeah, the general one for the basic topic. So the basic speech. So the first thing that you need to do before you deliver a speech is doing a research. So you are doing the research to the audience, all right? So you are trying to figure out who are your audience, who is gonna be listening to your speech, who are them, what are their backgrounds, what are their education, maybe what are their I don't know, maybe you can you can classify your audience, right? Maybe like general public listeners, or maybe academic listeners like students or teachers or lecturers, and also maybe kindergarten age, elementary student age, young adult age, parents age, or something like that. So you classify your audience, you know actually who are going to listen to your speech. So you're kind of doing the research for that. And the second one is select a topic. After you know your audience, so you probably will pick a suitable topic for the speech, because you already know who are going to listen to your speech, right? So you basically know what they need, what they want to hear, what they need to hear, what is suitable for them to be heard. This the third one. There are also important things that you have to do before writing your speech is doing the research for the topic. So maybe not everything is in our brain, right? Maybe we cannot assume that we know everything. So even the smartest people also need to learn more, need to study more, and need to know more about anything. Nobody knows everything. So if you are about to write a speech, so it is a must to do a little research. For example, before you deliver a speech, you can read the books in the library, or maybe you can explore the internet, the websites about the current topics, maybe, or about the things that you didn't know. So you kind of explore it more, right? So you try to understand more about any specific topic before you write it as a speech and then deliver it to another people. In this case, is to your listeners. And last one, there are also important things that you have to do before you write a speech, is to select a presentation tool. In this case, maybe you use the PowerPoint or PPT, or maybe you are doing it with a video, or maybe you are just using yourself, just by yourself, no laptop, no in focus, no PPT, no video, or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe they don't see your face. Maybe you are doing speech like what I am doing right now, right? So I'm just the one behind the screen. Nobody knows me. Nobody look at my face or something like that. I don't know. So you also need to know which presentation tool that you are going to use, because the suitable method depends on the presentation tools. Okay, then we are going to the next topic, which is the contents. Okay, this is a typo here. I'm sorry. So a good speech actually contains five layers, from introduction, background, main points, conclusion, and closing. In introduction, you literally maybe greet them with greetings, local greetings, or national greetings, or international greetings, up to you. But usually people who deliver speech use international greetings, right? Like good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, ma'am, good afternoon, class, and something like that. Then also maybe like the opening speech, like the honorable words, the respecting people, respecting the guest, I don't know, and something like that. And then after that, you introduce the title of your speech, or maybe the topic of your speech, so people or listeners might imagine and figure it out what is the topic that you are going to deliver. The second layer of the speech text contain background. And background, by the background I mean is you are showing to the people what is the urgency of your speech. The urgency. Why do people need to know about that? Or maybe what is currently happening with the topic, related to the topic. What is maybe just happened in the real world, in the real life, that related to the topic that you are going to deliver. So you just state many data maybe, or the latest news information, and something like that. So the point is you are stating the background, or what is your topic necessary, what is the urgency, and something like that. And then you go to the next layer, which is the main points. So in this layer, you deliver the key points, the main idea that you are going to say, or the main idea that you are going to tell people. In this part, this is actually the most important part of your speech, So make it simple, make it to the point. Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 explanation after the first sentence with the idea, with the main idea. I don't know. But the thing is, this is the most important part, or the most important layer of your speech text. So make sure that you already include every idea or every point that you are going to say to the people or to your listeners, and make it how to say, make it less confusing by writing it down in your draft. So you have to draft it first before you explain it to people or listeners. So you maybe write the points in the paper, that this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the opening, this is the closing. You need to write it down in the text speech before you actually saying it to the people directly, right? So it also can avoid the missing, it also can avoid the confusion to the listeners. It also can avoid the, what to say, the bolak-balik, what is that? Yeah, the bolak-balik points. So you're not turning here and there and turning around. So you just focus to your main points. The fourth layer is conclusion. So in this layer, you conclude the whole point of your speech into several points, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 sentences to your listener or your audience before you close your speech with the closing statement. So this closing statement actually, like what to say, the general conclusion and also the message maybe to the listeners, or maybe you can state the, what to say, the idiom, maybe, I don't know, the message, the moral message or everything to the people. So that is the part of a speech text. Next, there are also some tips for you to make a good speech. The first one, try to find a different or anti-mainstream topic. So people might not really interested with your topic if you just keep telling them the same topic again and again that already familiar with them. So the first one that you have to do is try to find a different one. Try to find the anti-mainstream one. Try to find the new one. Try to find the, what to say, the hot one, the current trending one. I don't know. Just try to find the different topic first. Because if you keep telling people the same things that they already know, they might not listening to you, right? Now the second one, try to make a catchy title, because maybe people not really listening to all of your speech, the whole of your speech, but I'm sure that maybe they will remember about your title. So make sure that you create the catchy title to your speech, because at least it can be like the things that can remind them what is your speech about. So this is very important, I think. The next one, the tips that also you can use for writing a good speech is that your speech contains new information. As what I told you earlier, that if your speech are just repeating the same old information that people already know, people might not be listening to your speech again, because what is the point, right? They knew already about what you are going to say. They understand the things that you are telling them. So why they should listen to you? So make sure that you contain new information. And the next tips for you is to avoid difficult words and unfamiliar or high level sentences. So because we can assume that not many people maybe understand what you are saying. because maybe there are so many new things, or maybe there are so many new perspective, I don't know. So make sure that you use the easy words, the familiar words in your speech, so we can increase the possibility that your listeners and your audience are all understand about what you are saying. And last one, the last tips for me is make sure that you make a clear plot in your speech. So to avoid the unnecessary confusion, so to make people understand better, to make people understand what you're going to say from A to Z, so make sure you create a clear plot, okay? So make sure that you all really remember about what you are about to say. Make sure also make sure that you are experts in what you are saying, or at least you know exactly what you are saying. So even though you maybe not really memorize your speech, at least you understand and you can tell it by your knowledge with your own language, even though you don't really remember about your speech text or draft. Okay, next, how to deliver a good speech. So actually I'm not really, I cannot say that I'm really confident to state that I'm a good speaker actually. So as you might know that I'm not really good at it actually, maybe yes also, okay. So a little bit speak, but not really speak. I don't know, but I am trying here to make you understand how to deliver a good speech, even though maybe I'm not really a good speaker, okay? Number one, before everything, you have to do a preparation, because no preparation means no good action, means no good ending. I can make sure for that. So make sure that you set a preparation first, right? And what are you going to prepare? It was a mental preparation, conceptual preparation, and also timing preparation. So by mental here, I mean that before you deliver your speech, make sure that you already have a good mentality, a good psychology, a good spirit, a good mind. So mentally you are ready to deliver a speech, because too nervous in delivering speech can resulted in worst possibility that you can imagine, right? So make sure that you are ready first. So after you're ready, make sure that you also prepare the concept, the draft, the things that you are going to say, the idea that you are going to tell, the information that you are going to explain. So make sure that you already create the concept, and you have to master the concept before you deliver your speech. And the last one that also need to be prepared is timing. I mean, you have to know that how long is your speech, and then how long the duration. Maybe in a competition, for example, maybe there are only 7 minutes, I guess, or 8 minutes, I guess, or 10 minutes. Now make sure that you already set the timing for your speech to make it over timing, right? So to make it on time. So if you only have 10 minutes, make sure that your speech is ended in 10 minutes and something like that. Make sure these three things are well prepared, okay? And the second one, in action. By the action, I mean is your speech time. From the beginning, you started with an attractive action, attractive gesture, So you do everything that make people attracted to you and your speech. For example, maybe you can use local wisdom or local saying or something like that. And also maybe you can come to the stage with a good performance in the look term, right? So that the clothes you are wearing, or maybe your hijab, or maybe the color of your shirt or something like that. Make sure that you are attractive. And then start with the attractive words also. Maybe the greetings, maybe you can use the local language for the greetings. I don't know. That is up to you, okay? And the second one, in the middle of your speech, make sure that your method to deliver your speech is interesting enough for the people and the audience. Because if in case maybe you are too monotonous, maybe you are like reading a book to them, or maybe like reading a newspaper to them, so you might be boring. You might be boring. So people might not be listening to you and what you are saying, right? So make sure that you already plan your speech, conceptual. You already do the conceptual frameworks, or you already do the good draft for your speech, and you make sure that it was interesting. And the last one, to finish your speech, you have to make it memorable. You have to make people impressed. So you have to make the impression statement, right? So maybe you can conclude it with your own style, maybe, or you can also close your speech with a funny twist or something like that. I don't know. It's up to you again. So make sure the start attractive, make sure the mid interesting, and make sure that you finish your speech in a memorable way. And a little tips for me to you. First one is the appearance. Make sure that you have a good look before you deliver your speech, because people are not going to be focused on you if you are not interesting to see, right? I know they actually going to your class or to your session to listen to your speech, but however they are going to see you, right, to watch you live. So make sure that your appearance are interesting. The second one is gesture. So in a speech, people actually like what is it, doing the dialogue to the people, right? So if the speaker are doing a speech, the speaker is actually talking to the audience. So make sure that you are delivering your speech like a people who are talking to another people. Don't make it like someone who is reading a newspaper. Don't make it like someone who is reading a book, and don't make it like someone who is reading undang-undang something like that. So make it like people who are really talking to another people. Make it like a real communication. So you use gesture, maybe your hand gesture, your standing gesture, and your fingers gesture, your face gesture. I don't know, you can explore it. The third one, tips from me, is using emotion in your speech. I don't mean you have to be angry when delivering your speech, or you are crying on delivering your speech. No, that is not the emotion that I meant. So I mean that in your speech you can use your mimic, your face expression, your facial expression. So when you are telling people about the dangerous information, maybe, or about the dangerous thing, so you show them the scare expression, maybe, alright? Or when you telling people about something funny, you make the expression of someone being funny and something like that. The last pro tips for me is to carefully set the articulation and intonation during your speech, because we are going to talk to the people, so make it not obvious like people who are memorizing the text or people reading the book or newspaper. So make sure that you already know which one has the high intonation, which one is low intonation. You also need to make it clear to be heard, so make sure that your articulation is good enough when you are saying the words and something like that. And evaluation is the last one that you need to do after you deliver your speech, because when you only do the preparation and action without any evaluation, you will not be better next time. You will not be better for your next speech, right? So make sure you do the evaluation too. So how to do it? First, you have to replan it. Rewatch it. Sorry, rewatch. The first one is rewatch. So you maybe can ask your friend to record your speech, and then you can watch that recording to know which part of your speech is mistaken maybe, or not really good enough, or need to be improved. I don't know, it's up to you. And the next one is critics. So beside you watch your own performance and you judge it by yourself, you also ask your friend for their critics, because we cannot tell our mistakes by ourselves maybe 100% correctly. I don't know. So maybe your friends have any other idea about your speech. Maybe they have something to say about your not so funny jokes or not so funny twist. I don't know. Yeah, it can be happening, right? So make sure that you also ask for critics. And next one is replan. So after you know how your performance, you know where your mistakes are. You also know which part of your speech need to be improved. Then replan for the next speech, and based on the critics and your improvement ideas, try to make it better next time. Next one, the secret key. So actually, as I've told you before, that maybe I'm not really good in this, maybe I'm not really expert in this, but I can agree, I can tell you that this one is perfectly true, right? Because I already experienced it in the past. Practice makes perfect. So when you are doing your speech in your first time, then you are doing your speech in the 50th on the, or the 100 times doing your speech, it will be better, right? You understand what I mean? Yeah, compared to the first speech, to the second and third and 10th and 100th time you are doing your speech, you'll be better. You will be eventually be better and better and better, trust me. So you cannot rely your speech just by one trying, just by one shot. You have to repeat it, you have to practice it again and again to make it less mistakes, to make it better, to make it more interesting, more flowing, and something like that. Okay, maybe this is not really part of the material today. Maybe this is not really important for some of you, but I can conclude that you also need to know about this. Okay, how to improve your public speaking skill. Actually, this is not really related to your speech if your speech is the text, but when you are about to tell people your speech directly with the spoken words, then you need to have a public speaking skill. And if you don't have it, or if you have it but not really good, then you have to improve it. So the practice, there are some method of practices that you can use in your home. Number one is doing mirror talk. So you are delivering your speech to the mirror. Basically, that can help you find the right expression, the right gesture, because you are seeing yourself directly in the mirror, right? The second one is doing a speech through the project group. So maybe in your assignment and in your classroom, you maybe have some projects with your friends or a group of classmates. Then you can use them to practice your speaking skill. And the third one is in the classroom. Maybe like when you are in the class with your teacher, your lecturer, and you are doing the presentation moment, then you can use the discussion time for improving your speaking skill. And the last one, in conference room. Maybe this is for the last year students and also an alumni, that there are so many conferences that you can attend to practice your speaking skill, because there are a large audience. Then you can say something to them and improve your speaking skill, and also improve your speaking skill. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you guys all understand what I mean, because actually I have no any concept for this, so I just try to explain it by using my own words. I hope it's not really confusing. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. And if you have if in any condition you have any question, you have something to ask, just ask me directly through the chat group or the voice notes. Thank you very much, and goodbye.